What's up, YouTube? Today I want to show a few items that recently came in the mail, and we'll start off with this Ukraine Hryvnia, or Ukraine Archangel. I don't have very many of these, and forgive me if I'm destroying how to say it. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's not one of my usual coins. This is a 2015. It originally started in 2011 and with mintage of 10,000 in the first years. This one's a little bit higher, I believe, in the 20 or 30 thousands, but it is a unique coin. So this was sent to me by a fellow Redditor, and he sent me four of them. All of these will be going in for grading. So that's the Ukraine Archangel. Next up is the 2007 Gold Panda in OMP. You can see that has a red spot, so this will join my 1994 in conservation, NCS, and regrading, or grading. Sorry, not regrading. So this one I was able to pick up at a discount, and we'll see how it does. Next up is a PF70 2005 Proof Eagle, reminiscent of BSO. I was able to kind of hustle my way into getting two of them from the same seller, and with eBay bucks and gift cards was able to pull this off for about $139 each, all things in. So here we go, a couple of eagles with my first set. And the reason why I was looking for these in particular was because of Frank P. Numismetals. He had done a shout out with a 1/4 proof 70 eagle that he picked up for $387, and after I did a little research, I found that that was a really great deal and tried to find another one, but I couldn't find it at that same price, so I settled for these at $139 a piece for both of them. So that puts me all in at $280. We'll see if long term if this holds up, but I believe I already have instant equity, and this also makes my video watchable for Silver Hustler 13. Silver Hustling 13, because we all know he loves the Pandas. All right, and finally, to bring it back to it, is the mother of all pandas for today. Let's see. It is a 1987 PF68 Panda. You can see it's in one of those huge display cases, or one of the huge slabs. And yeah, here it is in all its glory. Definitely proof-like. You can almost make my reflection in it. So you can see my chandelier instead. But yeah, this is a huge coin, or a huge slab, with a very good looking coin. I was able to get this at a really good price, and will most likely turn this one over. I don't really have an interest in this one, but it is very cool. It's definitely makes its presence known. So, yep, this does it for the recent pickups. All right. And finally, I wanted to do a little bit of a discussion on none other than sets. Now, a question came up from EQ Gold, or we had a little discussion with EQ Gold about sets and completing sets. Now, the question was, okay, now that we've built a set, and it applies to any set there is, it could be privies, or kookaburra privies, or koalas, or koala privies. Name your series, but the question is, how would a person extract the most value when it comes time to sell? Is the set worth more as a whole, or the sum of its parts. So, for instance, selling coins individually. And my thoughts are that selling individually is the best way to get the most bang for your buck or get the most out of your set. Now, this is where I would love to hear your thoughts on whether or not you think I'm crazy or you agree. Because the way I feel is if you're a collector, people collect the sets, but ultimately you're spending money on coins that are common and easily and readily available. And the premium is with the set. However, once you actually fill up the set, the sum of it is actually less than individual coins. Now, this is pretty true. This case is a little dirty, but yeah, this seems to be the case with most coins. So I got this set complete for roughly $65 a coin, and you'd be pretty lucky to find that individually. Now, it's definitely possible, but I've seen these go all the way up to 80, $90 each. So buying it as a set was cheaper than buying it individually. And usually it's because you're fighting people who only need one or two coins left to complete their set. So yeah, the maybe averaging out might work, but it takes a lot longer to do it that way, which is what I tend to do with pandas because it's a little cost prohibitive to buy a set of pandas, right? You got to do it piece by piece. Or even with these proofs. But you can start off with getting them cheap, and then from there start filling in the dates. But the question becomes, which ones do you actually decide to get first when you start building your set? And you can pick, like I said, you can pick any series that you want. For instance, this is my first Ukraine Archangel, so I'm starting there. But the next one, and I've heard tons of collectors say this, but it's to start with the most difficult coin to get first. And that's because most people want to get that, and once you get that coin out of the way, the rest is usually pretty easy. And I found that true. And also that the coin that was the most difficult to get, you'll start seeing more often and less pressure to get it because you already have it. So it's just one of those things to think about is, do you want to complete the set, start with the hardest coin first, or get the entire set first and have a coin missing that you might never get? So it's nice to have it all, but it's incomplete. Or do you start with the one that's the most difficult to get? Because usually adding up all the coins is still less than the one individual coin. It just takes you a little bit longer. It drags out the process. But once you spend this much on accumulating all the individual coins and then try to go after the last one, it makes it a little bit harder to swallow. Same with the Lunar 2 sets. And even with even with the pandas, that kind of holds true because those pandas, once you get to the key dates, they get really expensive. So the way I did it was I started off with the commons you saw with the 80s, but ultimately I jumped into the key dates. And I was lucky enough to do that because the key date prices started increasing. And that tends to happen. So now the prices could end up falling, but that has yet to happen. So you risk being priced out and then ultimately not being able to fill the gap. Or, just bite the bullet, get the coin, and do it. So that's as a collector. As an investor, what I would do is look at the mintages of the entire series that I'm collecting, or I potentially would like to collect, and pick out the most difficult coin to get first that I can afford. Now, it doesn't have to be the key date or the most expensive one, but it should be up there. So in the Lunar 2 case, it would be the Tiger, because the Tiger is roughly about $90 to $120. So this is usually a key coin for most collectors. So as an investor, I would try to get rolls of this coin because a lot of people will use this coin as their best coin because it's still attainable. So it's just one way to go about it and not mess with, say horses or snakes or rabbits. The snake is actually a low mintage year. So, or even load up on the goats because the goats is just about as low as the tiger at this point. So it's just something to keep in mind on if you're collecting to collect or you're collecting to invest. Because usually there's a slight difference and your money is better spent on getting the more difficult coin because when it comes time to resell, these coins or the ones that are more difficult to get are the ones that appreciate faster on a percentage basis just because there's more of them, or sorry, there's less of them available. So if you control the market, you control the price, you don't have to let it go. Or you let it go at the price that you want. So that's just one of those things. And if you're to have the complete set, I would never sell it as a set. I would break it up and sell the common dates first, list them first if I knew I was going to sell, and just kind of take my time in selling them. Because with collector items or numismatics, time is your worst enemy. If you're strapped for cash, time is the worst thing. Like trying to sell these fast is the worst thing you can do. You got to put them up on the market and let them bake and let them sit, let people know that you have them, and hopefully you're priced fairly and they'll go within the time frame that you need. Otherwise, the faster you need it to go, the faster you need it to move, the lower your price needs to be. So never sell as a set unless you have a buyer that's willing to pay what you want, or sell individually if you can, and then get the most money out of each coin. That allows you to maximize the premium on each of these. Just because usually there's more than one person looking for that coin that you have, especially on rare issues or older coins that have a smaller mintage. All right, well, this one is again getting long. Thanks for watching and hope to see you again. Please leave your comments below, click that thumbs up, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Peace.